The government doesn't care whether you sell your gold to buy Bitcoin. It's not an issue. In fact, the best thing you could do is sell all $10 trillion worth of gold and buy Bitcoin. Gold's a dead rock. It's the worst performing asset the past decade. And I think the big winner of the congressional hearings is Bitcoin. It's pretty clear that there's consensus at the congressional level in support of crypto. It's pretty clear that investors want to invest in the new digital economy. Bitcoin's universally acknowledged as common property and not a security. So there's no regulatory overhang on Bitcoin. If you want digital property as a long-term store of value, then every nation in the world, China, Europe, the United States, they all acknowledge that Bitcoin is digital property. It's not a security. There's a lot of question about how other security tokens will be resolved in the crypto exchanges and DeFi. And obviously, there's a lot of enthusiasm for it. There's a lot of pressure to move forward with regulatory clarity. I think it'll happen. But in the meantime, I think the one takeaway that any reasonable investor could have is that Bitcoin's here to stay, and Bitcoin's an obvious solution. And there really isn't any regulatory uncertainty around Bitcoin's status as property, a commodity, and a store of value. We can debate how volatile and how speculative it is, but the regulatory issues really aren't outstanding at this point.
Hey, Michael, I want to drill a little bit more on the store of value side of things, as you just illustrated. One of the arguments for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is its ability to usurp the US dollar. But stablecoins caught a lot of attention. And what caught my ear was actually some conversation about how stablecoins could actually entrench the US dollar status. I want to play a clip of Jeremy Allaire from Circle talking about this with Congress yesterday. Take a listen.
Dollar stablecoins are doing trillions of dollars of transactions. The experimental beta of a Chinese yuan, which is government controlled in China, has done $10 billion of transactions. So the United States is winning. This has the potential to grow at a very significant speed around the world and benefit the US dollar and benefit American businesses and households. And so I think that's one really, really critical thing to understand. And I think the primacy of this infrastructure and the development of this infrastructure, it is a strategic national security and national economic priority for the United States, and we need to get going on it right now.
So, Michael, I guess any thoughts on how stablecoins kind of play with the broader goals of crypto? Because it seems like an implicit acknowledgement that while Bitcoin may be, attractive, it has other attractive offerings, means of payment is one that might be better served by stablecoins.
Yeah, I think it's a mistake to characterize any of the cryptos as currencies. They really should be thought of as crypto assets. Bitcoin is a crypto asset. It's a property. It's not a currency. The IRS determined that in 2014 when they designated it as property. The dollar is a currency. The digital dollar is a digital currency, and everybody in the world wants two things. They want a digital currency and they want the dollar, right? The world wants 10 or 20 or 30 trillion dollars worth of digital dollars. They don't want the lira, the peso, the bolivar, the naira. I think that the digital dollar is destined to collapse the 100 weakest currencies in the world, and the US dollar, which is currently the reserve currency of the world on 20th century banking rails, is going to be the reserve digital currency of the world on 21st century crypto rails. I don't think there's any dispute about that, and Jeremy's correct. The United States needs the digital dollar. We need stable coins to spread. Now, with regard to Bitcoin, Bitcoin is digital property. The world needs digital property to hold their money for a decade or a century. They need the digital dollar as a medium of exchange to move money back and forth day by day, week by week. Both of those are going to be big winners in the coming crypto era. There's no doubt in my mind.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information, and it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
And Michael, as we've seen more institutions enter the cryptoverse, will more institutions getting involved, will that bring a threat to the financial system?
No, the only thing that's threatened by Bitcoin is gold. Here's what's happening. people are exchanging their weak currencies for strong currencies. And that means they want to trade the Turkish lira for the dollar or the euro. They want to trade, there's no African currency or South American currency which will survive. People don't even want to hold the Chinese RMB, right? If they could trade the CNY for the US dollar, they would do it. That's why the Chinese have capital controls. So the first dynamic is the trade from weak currency to strong currency as a medium of exchange. The second trade is weak property and weak assets to strong assets. Gold is a weak property. You know, you're better off not to buy a second investment property. You're better off not to hold negative yielding bonds. What you want to do is hold a strong property that's going to appreciate in value, at least at the rate of monetary inflation. So you can expect that Bitcoin can grow from $0 to $100 trillion, from $1 to $100 trillion in market cap just by replacing gold, silver, and demonetizing real estate and negative yielding bonds and other monetary indexes. These are assets. I think you can expect the US dollar is going to expand from $170 billion worth of stable coins to a trillion to 10 trillion, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50, $100 trillion worth of US dollar stable coins. No, I mean, it's not a threat. In fact, I would turn it around and say, if the US dollar is going to remain the world's reserve currency, it needs to move as a stable coin throughout the entire world. And, the government doesn't care whether you sell your gold to buy Bitcoin. It's not an issue. In fact, the best thing you could do is sell all $10 trillion worth of gold and buy Bitcoin. Gold's a dead rock. It's the worst performing asset of the past decade, bar none, no debate, and there's no hope for it.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3,000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much, much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.